Hello everyone. The last thing we're going to cover for chapter 2.1 is going to be ogive graphs. So an ogive, which yes is pronounced ogive, though no one's going to count off if you say ogive, is a graph that represents cumulative frequencies for classes in a frequency distribution. It shows how many of the values of the data are below a certain boundary. So really you could kind of think of it actually as a cumulative frequency histogram like we've done before. Remember, a cumulative frequency histogram is non-decreasing. Where what you're doing is you're basically just connecting these points together and you're creating a line graph which represents the rate of change as you go from the left to the right, as your x-axis changes as you grow. So that's all an ogive is. Now, there are some differences between them. So to create your ogive, the first thing is your x-axis actually has to be your class boundaries. So when we did a histogram, whether it be frequency histogram, relative frequency, or cumulative relative frequency, we could use either class boundaries or we could use midpoints. But for ogive, it has to be class boundaries. So on the x-axis, we will have our class boundaries. And then, so we'll have our lower class boundaries, and then we'll have each subsequent where they meet until you get to your upper class boundary. On your y-axis, this is going to be your cumulative frequency. But instead of drawing bars that will, go for each group, what you're going to do is on the first group, you're going to put a dot at whatever point you have for that cumulative frequency. And for the second group, you're going to do the same thing using the upper class boundaries. And then you're going to take those dots and you are going to connect them with a line. And then the last thing is, and depending on how you want to do this, generally what we'll do is we'll draw a dotted line down to the zero for y at the lower class boundary. And this is because we know that what this is telling us is that in this first group that it accumulates to whatever this value is on our y-axis. So if we were to go here, this is our y value for that cumulative frequency. Same thing here. So it tells us the amount that something is changing. But the reason we sometimes put a dotted line down to our y equals 0 for our the reason we put a dotted line to our lower class boundary is because we don't really know how it grew from here to here. We just know that within this group, it got to this point. Within this group, it went from this point and got to this point. Within this group, it went from this point to this. So it's telling us the rate of change between our groups. So from here to here, we changed at this rate. From here to here, we changed at this rate. From here to here, we changed at this rate. And from here to here, we changed at this rate. But in the beginning, we really don't know exactly how, because remember, we don't know what the values are. So even though our lower class boundary might be this bottom value, really most of our data could be right here. So we kind of usually just put a dotted line there. Now this isn't necessary. You could put a solid line. A lot of programs do. For example, if I do an ogive in R, it actually will just put a solid line. So the way you make an ogive is you first, it represents the cumulative frequencies on the y-axis, that's our vertical axis, and our class boundaries we put on our x-axis. Then we want to find our cumulative frequencies for each upper class boundary, and we want to put a dot. Then we're just going to connect our dots, and that's it. You have an ogive. So if you look at the slide here, you can actually see an example of an ogive for one of the examples we did previously, where you see we have our class boundaries for upper class boundaries of 10.5, 15.5, 20.5, 25.5, and 30.5. I know they're kind of off, but you can kind of get the idea. Then you put a dot for each of those class boundaries, the upper class boundaries, and you connect those dots. And then for the last one, the very first upper class boundary, you just draw a line down to your lower class boundary for that group to 0. So let's do an example from one of our prior problems. Now notice if we're doing an ogive, we don't actually need all of the extra stuff like we did before. But if you have all that done, you actually can just draw an ogive right away because we already had done cumulative frequencies in our tables. So at that point, you could just jump straight to doing an ogive. So looking at this slide, we're actually going to do the second one because it's already filled out and it'll be easier. So this was actually the original example we looked at in this class. So if you look at it, we have class limits of 3 to 8 with a frequency of 10. We have class limits of 9 to 14 with a frequency of 9, 15 to 20 with a frequency of 6, 21 to 25 with a frequency of 2. So actually, this is a different example. 27 to 31 with a frequency of 3. So first things first, let me just write that down really quick. So for our class levels, we are going to have to find our class boundaries. So this is going to be 3 to 8. This is going to be 9 to 14. This is going to be 15 to 20. This is going to be 21 to 26. And this is going to be 27 to 31. We actually messed up. This should actually be 32. There's a typo on the slide. Then we have our frequencies, which are going to be 10, 9, 6, 2, and 3, for a total of 30. Now, the next thing is we need to find our class boundaries. So I'm just going to write it as class boundaries. And we have a tolerance of 1, because again, we can look at the difference from 8 to 9, which by the way, if you actually look at it, this is the first example. It's just expanded by 1 class. So we're going to subtract 0.5 from these. So there's going to be 2.5, 8.5, 14.5, 20.5, and 26.5. For upper class boundaries, which really we only need this first lower class boundary, and the rest we just need the upper class boundary. It's going to be 8.5, 14.5, 20.5, 26.5, and 32.5. And at this point, we actually have everything we need to draw our ogive graph, right? So if we do our x and our y-axis, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my class boundaries. So this is going to be 2.5 to 8.5 to 14.5 to 20.5 to 26.5 and then to 32.5. This is going to be our class boundaries. On our y-axis, we're going to have our cumulative frequency. So in this case, our cumulative frequency is going to be, so first one is 10. 10 plus 9 is 19. 19 plus 6 gives us 15. 15 plus 2 gives us 17. 17 plus 3, 19, sorry, this should be 25. This should be 27. And this should be 30, which matches, see, and this is why I told you that you should actually make sure that you did this correctly, because you'll notice I made a mistake there, but I was able to easily see it. As soon as I saw I didn't end at 30, I was able to quickly correct it rather than moving on from there. So now what we do is we go to the upper class boundary for the first group, which is 8.5, and we put a dot at 10. Now, if you look at our cumulative frequency, it looks like it goes from 10 to 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do it in tens just to kind of keep it simple for this example. So the first group, I'm going to put a dot at 10 at our upper class boundary. The second one, I'm going to do a dot at 19 for our second class boundary. For the third group, 25. For the fourth group, 27. And for the third group, 30. I'm then going to connect these dots. And then, like I said, I'll just do a little dotted line down to 0, and I've got my ogive graph completed. And that's really all there is to doing an ogive graph. So in this example, you can kind of see in this table that it's filled out a little bit more, where it's got relative frequency and stuff like that. But if I'm doing an ogive, I don't need any of that information. But the reason we kind of teach this together is because if you did the table from start to finish, like we did in our examples, you can make a frequency histogram, a relative frequency histogram, a cumulative frequency histogram, a cumulative relative frequency histogram, or an ogive. You have all the data for any of those tables. Okay. The last thing I want to kind of point out, and this is something I actually showed you, but I wanted to show you with a graph because it's a little bit easier to visualize, is that if you look at the computer histograms for a frequency histogram and a relative frequency histogram, if you actually look at it, they are the same graph, just with our y-axis having a different scale. But if you look at it, they're basically mirror graphs of each other. Okay, if we kind of look at a cumulative frequency histogram, it'll actually end up being the same thing. I don't know why that cut off so weirdly, but this is what our ogive was. And that's it. And that is it for 2.1. We will be skipping 2.2 and going straight to 2.3 from here. Thank you for watching. To continue learning, click the linked video here for the next lesson. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.